All right, let's go and get started. Howdy, howdy, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sharkinbear, and welcome back to the channel. Where today we're going to be checking out Hordes of Hunger. This game just got released into early access over on Steam, and in this game you will vanquish an onslaught of monsters in this 3D action survivors-like from the creators of Blood West. Take control of Mirah to defend your homeland from living hunger, wield powerful weapons and abilities, and save others from the advancing hordes. This is one I've had on my radar for a little bit of time now. I did play the demo a couple of months ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed what was here, and I was waiting to see the full release come out, or the early access release to come out, to see if I can get some more progression in there, because there wasn't a lot of progression to see in the demo itself. They usually save that sort of thing for the initial release, and so that's where we're at. It is May 7th by the time I'm recording this video, and this game came out on May 6th. So we're going to check it out a little bit here. If you like this content, you want to see more videos like this here on the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below, let me know what you think of the gameplay. Let me know what you think of the game. And if you'd like to wishlist this game, I'm going to leave a link down in the description for you to check out for yourself. So, I read the description, I read the description about what this game was about, but what is it really? So essentially this is kind of like an arena game, like where you're going to beat up a whole bunch of hordes of enemies inside the confines of a singular map. It basically is a wave-based horde killing type game. So if you like horde killers, not necessarily FPS, but like more like a melee beat 'em up, this is definitely going to feel pretty good on that front. You're definitely might get your fix there. The combat is a little floaty, and we're going to talk about that a little bit whenever we get into it. But let's talk about the rest of the stuff. So essentially, this is our hub. In this hub, you start out with very few things, and as you progress through the thing, you're going to get a whole bunch of story narrative. But essentially, we have a figure here known as Father. I don't know if it's the actual Father, or if not, or if that's just his name, but this is your meta progression guy. You can talk to him and get some exposition if you'd like, or you can come over here and spend these feathers that we get throughout the levels to do different forms of meta progression upgrades, such as increasing our dash recovery or area of effect of our attacks, max health, movement speed, physical damage, elemental damage, posture damage, and the amount of health that you can have on your characters. That basically, you know, the usual suspects for your different meta progression upgrades. Also over here, there's a station for a blacksmith. Now we don't have a blacksmith. I don't know if an NPC eventually comes over here, but as of right now, essentially you have an inventory for your character as well as a crafting station. By default, you start out with a sword as well as one special attack ability. And as you find blueprints for weapons, you can then craft them. If you have multiple, like if you have 3 different pieces of gear, you can actually combine them in order to make that piece of gear. So in this aspect, I actually just created the gauntlets because I had 3 versions of the gauntlet, this normal rarity one right here, and they do seem to come in rarity, FYI. From what I can tell, there's the normal non-outline one, the blue one, and then there's a yellow one as well. As you can see, I have a yellow one for a spear and a yellow one for a sword. If I can find 2 more pieces of each of those, we can have a super rare version, or we could just get one more piece of the hammer here and the spear here. We can have a blue version of it. I did actually manage to get a hammer upgrade. It's actually what we're using now. I'm using this hammer, which is basically just a mace with spikes on the end of it. And then we also have a 2-handed hammer, a common version, and the gauntlets as well. I've also found a number of abilities in the levels themselves. I've ended up finding Righteous Rage, which basically allows me to increase damage dealt while taking more damage. Oh, right, decrease damage received for duration. Oh, so it's actually just a positive. Cool. Then we also have Ground Slam, which is the one I choose to go with. It basically just bashes the ground in and does a whole bunch of area effect damage. And the last one is Unholy Rapture, which allows you to damage enemy things such as like crates and stuff. Sounds like I really don't like that. I like the ability to damage a whole bunch of enemies at one time. So that is what we're currently rocking. You do have the single loadout. As you save characters in the levels, because you can find them to show up at your base, they don't really seem to have a use now, but we'll figure that out eventually down the line. And then if we go over here, there's another NPC, and her name is just Mother, and she doesn't say a lot, but she does provide us with food buffs to our stuff. You'll find new recipes as you are out and about. So if I go in here, I can spend my meta progression currency to also basically give myself a buff food wise. I am going to go ahead and just buy some nettle brew. So for our run coming up, we're going to be doing, I believe, did I have that right? Is it, yes, I can. Can I hover my mouse over here? Doesn't look like I can. I'll have to go back. I think that's increased fire damage. I do hope that they'll allow you to Oh, I generate 30% more focus. That's what it is. Okay. The focus is what you build in order to do your special attack, I believe. So we're going to jump into a map here, and we're going to showcase the gameplay a little bit. And we're going to talk about the ins and outs of things I don't like, things about that I do like, and hopefully where they're going in the future. So as you can see right now, I have played through the first initial 3 levels of the city, as well as 1 level of the village, which is the next biome. Essentially, you go it by level. And apparently, there's a question mark on these, so maybe there's a reason to go back and do these. So let's check out the cathedral, because I am kind of curious about what these question marks are. So whenever you start in the map, the very first thing you're going to have is an initial thing to cull enemies here until you get your first objective. As you can see over there on the left side of the screen, there is a meter, and in that meter we can see like the progression of where we are at as far as our objectives go. So as you can see right here,
that father's song?
We have a whole bunch of things going on. So we have our basic attack button on our right bumper. We have a heavy attack on our right trigger. We have a dodge on our B or our circle button, depending if you're playing with a controller. I don't know what any of these controls are with mouse and keyboard. I like kicking back with my roguelites with the controller, so sue me. But essentially, we also have a parry button. Now, the parry button is kind of a point of contention for myself, because there are 2 different ways that parry button can be used. So if you see some of the enemies will actually have circles that are yellow gleam out of them, that is the time to counter an enemy with your parry attack. Unfortunately, if you are moving at the same time you hit that parry button, instead of parrying, you're going to do a sidestep, which while will help you avoid that damage, a parry interacts with it in a way that you immediately counter and do a whole bunch of bonus damage to whatever enemies you are facing at that time. I don't like the fact that there is a movement ability attached to my parry. So essentially what this has me doing most of the time is, if I want to use effectively my parry to the best of my ability, I will stand still and just hold down the light attack button. And the attack button gives you some momentum, so you'll move with your character. So that way I can counter without actually having to move. And I just turn my camera as I necessary to go to the direction I want to. And so like, I do hope that they decide to redesign that. So if I just hold down the attack button, I'm just going to be wading through enemies here. And anytime I see the counter button pop up, is my opportunity to do the counter. So every time you fill up an XP bar at the bottom, you will be giving a couple of choices here. You can re-roll and banish them based off how many progression upgrades you got back at the hub with Father. Looks like we have a couple of choices here. I do actually like Holy Bolt. Every 0.8 seconds, shoot a random enemy with within 9 meters, dealing 1 to 12 holy damage. I am going to go with that one, because that's going to be our second upgrade for that one. And that's just like a lot of nice passive damage. It is important to note that if you flub a parry, it does put the parry on a cooldown.
Let's think.
If you nail the parry, you will actually be able to immediately parry again, and you can actually parry really well, like just chain them all together. If I do my special attack, there's my special attack. We can see my special attack down there in the bottom left hand corner. I don't really care for any of these. I'm going to re-roll, and then I'm going to go with Lightning Eye. Each consecutive counter attack creates a stack. For each stack and counter attack deals an additional 5 thunder. So as long as we are doing our counters, our parries, we are going to be getting a big damage benefit for every successful counter on there. And I messed up a counter, so I'm not even gonna worry about that. These shield guys over here, technically speaking, I'm supposed to be doing with a heavy attack, but because of the fact that we have this Holy Bolt helping us, we are actually managing to essentially blow past their shields with our Holy Bolt. But traditionally speaking, you are supposed to use a heavy attack to break through their shields, or else they'll just block all your stuff. So we have an objective right there to go over to that question mark now that we've completed our first objective. You'll also notice that we have an apple button down in the bottom left-hand corner. This is basically our healing potion. Currently, at this point in time, I can have up to 3 apples at any given time, and you can find more by finding specific glowing barrels around the map and holding those on your person, and they give you some health back over time. They're also used as a trading currency, because if we find throughout this map, every once in a while, we'll hear a girl humming to herself, and she will offer to trade us one of our apples for either a recipe or a meta progression currency. So it behooves us to go out and try to see if we can find the little girl and get that upgrade. So the less healing we actually need for our character, the more we have usable for currency with her. She's offered in between the rounds, like every 2 rounds, whenever basically the stages will freeze themselves, and that will basically allow us to go and find her. So for now, we will need to go ahead and head on to the question mark for our next objective. One of the things she can also gives us keys. Keys can allow us to find treasure chests around the map and open those treasure chests in order to get extra rewards, pieces of blueprints, things of that nature. But if we die during the run, anything that we found is useless. We basically lose it entirely. So definitely would behoove you to try to stay alive as soon as possible. The cool thing about this is that at different breakpoints during the run, you will be given the option to go back to base early. So if you don't think there's a chance that you're going to make it through the run, you definitely want to head back to the hub. Heading over to this tome floating in the air, we're going to be given our objective is to disrupt the ritual. Every objective is a little bit different. Some of them, they're not a lot of objectives, but there's enough in the game to keep the variety going for a little bit. So we need to find this guy. We need to kill him as fast as we can. He's a mage, and it looks like he's doing some AoE damage stuff there. We need to stand on that ground. We got some AoE looking enemies here. We are taking damage because we now have exploding type enemies showing up.
Let's think.
Let's see. We're gonna go with none of these. I don't like any of them. We're gonna go with Fire Aura is really good. Fist of Heavens is really good. I'm gonna go with Fire Aura and have a persistent point of damage going off. He's almost dead. That is the objective completed. I'm gonna go ahead and probably use an apple here if I can.
I'm glad you're here.
Sorry it took so long.
No, it's all right. Thank you.
So we have the moment of reprieve. This is one of the times
interesting.
we can actually choose to go back to the tree if we wanted to. I chose to get an apple out of that thing and use one on myself. And now that time is frozen, we can also find the merchant around here and see if she's willing to trade an apple for a meta progression currency, as well as pick up any leftover XP.
Father, what did you tell me?
I think we're going to go with Fire Aura. Maybe make the area around us a little bit wider, plus deal additional damage around us. I am not going to focus on too much on healing myself to full, mostly because I am hoping that at one of our level up points, we'll be able to invest into a perk that gives us health on kill. It starts off as like 0.2 health per kill to 0.6, I believe, and then to 0.1 after that one. There is our next objective. But I do hear the girl humming. It seems like she's back here in this alley.
Her again.
Let's see what she's offering us.
This looks good. Shall we exchange?
And so in exchange for our nettle tea, she will actually give us a hammer blueprint. I don't actually want the hammer blueprint. I'm gonna be completely honest. It is a normal common blueprint.
No.
I don't have a
pass.
spear yet, so
now
she
you
offered
definitely will.
now if she offered a spear one, I might take one just because I don't have a spear option yet. And I'd just be interested to see what that looks like, but we're gonna pass on her on this go. For this one, it looks like we're gonna have to find an area and defend it. Basically, if you're outside the area, outside the holy ground, you'll take damage over time. And we do have a meter on the right side there that indicates how long we have before we start taking damage. Once that ticks down, that is where we'll have to stay until the timer is up. So the best we can do is just hold this down. Oh, looks like we're gonna be sticking on this side of the corner. I cannot make it over that wall anymore. I don't think I can jump down there.
Let's think.
All right, we're gonna get our fire aura to level 3. That is one thing I don't like. There are a couple of moments in the game where essentially I find that I fell off a ledge or something, and some of these objectives, like this right here actually, require me to be on an elevated surface for the objective.
Almost.
And yeah, so I end up taking a whole bunch of damage. I don't mean to, because like I said, the game is very floaty in some of the action combat, and so that sometimes whenever you dodge, you can find yourself moving a little bit further than you'd like to. So it looks like we have another option here. Focused gamble. There's a 20% chance to regain all focus after a special attack. I think I'm gonna go with fire wave and do some additional fire damage after our stuff. There is a guy up there, but it looks like we were able to kill him, and then I used my special attack for that one. One of the big things I could see happening here is it is very easy to lose sight of what's happening on screen. I am just going to do myself a solid favor here, and I'm going to try to counter until the bar is full. Things like moving is probably to my detriment. Oh, I countered too early. Oh, looks like we have the ability to get a fire weapon. I'm going to do that. I would take the max health. Problem with max health is it isn't towards all your levels. It's towards all your levels from now on. So any additional levels that I actually had go against it. Like, we don't gain anything for this.
This is something really strange.
Let's see. We'll go with the fire weapon, 7.5 fire damage being added to our attacks. It's important to know that is actually a pretty decent amount of damage, seeing as how our current weapon, I think, does like 18 damage. So having an additional like 7.5 damage on top of that, it's a pretty good boost. So we can head towards our next objective now. I did use another apple. I think it would behoove us to use another apple, just because our health is lower and we still haven't gotten the perk for healing our character. Obviously, RNG is RNG, so sometimes we don't get the things that we want. So it looks like our objective is at the top of that tower. Looks like I floated right by. By the way, there are 2 different camera modes. I think the developers are planning on working on the camera a bit. There is a fixed camera option, which I just toggled to right now, and then there's the manual camera
These must be the
option.
bells Father Karam spoke of.
So you definitely have the opportunity to change the camera to your playstyle. Traditionally speaking, I usually use the manual camera option just because I like having to adjust the height or lower it to wherever I need it to be. Ring the bells. This is a new one to me.
I must find a way to make them swing.
So there is a series of bells here that we have to ring, and after we ring it, those will be all of our objectives completed. Can I get down this way? We can get down this way. I'm going to go ahead and transition back to the other camera. I like this more manual camera option. And it doesn't look like the enemies are giving me too much of a heartache here.
That song.
Go ahead and take the fire bell. Looks like we just got to beat them up. Oh, I have to... Oh, man, I messed up because I actually have to destroy that bell. I see.
That should do it. Now on to the next one.
All right, so I need to go back to the top of that tower because I flubbed it hard. I did not have any keys at all. That kind of sucks. Took some damage right there. That's okay. Our Holy Bolts is really popping off for us. Really giving us some distance every once in a while. So I'm all for it. All right, we'll get back to the top of this tower. Luckily, we weren't too far away from the tower by the time we figured out that I'm a big doofus. And now let's beat up this tower. And hopefully we don't have too many enemies coming up here to try to contend with us. Alright, so this one is destroyed, and it looks like we have one more option to take care of now. Down at the very end of the other side of the map. I'm going to go ahead and dodge out of that one and just keep working my way towards the other one. These maps overall aren't that big in size, but you know, definitely large in scale the way they look. I do like the way they do look. So far, I've only seen about 4 of the maps, and they all differ ever so slightly. I don't know how many maps they do intend to add into the game, but I do know they have like different difficulty modes and such. So let's go ahead and start beating up this tower. I'm gonna walk out of that exploding guy's range.
Let's think.
I think we're gonna go with the Fist of the Heavens. Every 2 seconds, an enemy within 60 meters struck by lightning, receiving 20 thunder damage. I'm all for it. Move out of that. Tower's almost
The
done.
district can face its gruesome end.
And like that, we are at the end of this one.
Oh,
Time
here
is
you are.
frozen.
Rest for a while, child.
Thank you.
I don't think we received
That
any
is
keys,
curious.
did we? Nope, no keys. We gotta go back to that girl to see if she has anything for sale now. Like, did she change up any of her items on her stock? Usually I buy whatever she has, so I don't know if it resets every single time time freezes, essentially. So, she is right over here, though, so she's not very far, and she is on the way to our next objective. Right around this corner.
Ooh, this looks good. Shall we exchange?
And it looks like she is exchanging the nettle tea for
Thanks.
food that I've not
Don't
seen.
die.
Hibiscum
Or do.
obtained,
You'll
or
be back
capsicum.
anyway. Haha.
That's something for heat, isn't it? I can't remember what that's used for specifically in real life. But it looks like we have another objective. It is also on this clock tower as well. What is this one? Oh, the horde. So for this one, all we really need to do is just kill all the enemies.
Always.
I'm gonna jump down and go into like the middle of this arena. Really, I kind of don't want to be in the middle of everything, like in the middle of a walkway with a whole bunch of exploders show up. So on the offshoot that happens, we'll go ahead and move out of the way of that exploder.
What was that verse about?
We'll go ahead and do Fists of the Heavens.
Dodge. Remember.
And unfortunately, while I was taking that that option there, I did get hit. That's okay.
What was it? That song.
Excellent. We're gonna go with Tools of Mercy. Not Tools of Mercy. We'll go. You know what? We will go Tools of Mercy. On weapon hit, 30% chance to summon an ethereal dagger that flies in a random direction. It deals 30% of weapon damage and has 30% chance to pierce the target. Yes, absolutely. Passive extra damage. I will take it. And looks like we're still a little bit far off from completing our objective. I'm wondering where all the enemies are. Traditionally speaking, there's usually like a huge horde of enemies. It is the Hordes of Hunger, after all. There we go. We'll go with the Tools of Mercy again. Get a whole bunch of extra damage going out with our passive strikes. And as you can see, I'm pretty much just like staying in place, and the forward momentum from my swings is taking me where I need to go. One thing I would like to see change is whenever you counter, I would like your character to attack the direction you were countered in. As of right now, you always hit the direction that your camera is facing, as far as I can tell. I'm not a big fan of that. I would rather the attacking the target that I'm countering. Oh, we got a attack AoE that we couldn't block, unfortunately. We did complete the quest though, so that is good. Oh, we got Bloodlust finally. Each kill heals you for 0.2 health. Effectiveness is halved. So okay, I guess that means that my apples don't heal for as much.
That's new.
But we do have health on kill now, which is really nice. I am gonna go ahead and use an apple. And while it will not heal me for nearly as much, the health on kill is definitely gonna help a lot. Looks like our last objective for the boss of this level is gonna be found on the other side of this building. We're gonna head over there. And we'll have one more time to interact with the merchant girl between now and the final boss. So let's see what we have on to offer. Now the enemy variety, I would say, is actually pretty consistently changing. So far the enemies that I found to be the most annoying were a series of enemies that summon more enemies, and they put a lot of dots on the ground, and it's hard to kind of like avoid all of them. But it is what it is. I was pretty sure I counted that, but there's a lot of effects going off. It's kind of getting me hard to read the counters here. This one has me finding all the harbingers to kill them, but what I found is that the harbingers will actually come to you. So as you see, there's one flocking at me right now. All right, do we have another harbinger? We have one more. Perfect special attack deals additional 20 fire damage. Yeah, sure, why not? There is a jump attack, but I've really not found a good use to jump. Like, I don't see a reason for jumping. There could be one, but like, honestly, spamming attack while you have the health up is seemingly one of the best things you can do. And apparently this guy doesn't want to come to us, so we're gonna have to go to him. There we go. He is dead. Looks like because of that, we got ourselves a scroll for a new ability called Thunder Roar.
What?
We managed to make it out of here alive. We can totally get that as an option. But unfortunately, for me, I am going to try to press my luck by trying to beat the boss of the stage. I've only seen about 2 or 3 iterations of the boss, but they all seem to revolve around having a move that's counterable in an area of effect text they put on the ground that you definitely need to move out of the way pretty quickly. And it looks like she's offering us the hammer again. I don't want the hammer.
Thank you.
So we're going to deny her. We're going to eat another apple. And I'm probably going to try to see if we can get another apple. Do I have any keys? I don't have any keys on me, unfortunately. We didn't receive any as quest rewards. But we are at pretty full health. We are about to level up, and we do have at least a point into our heal to heal ability. I'm going to jump down here. We got to slay the judge. The judge should spawn any moment now.
What did you tell me?
We're going to go with Totems of Pain. I really do like this ability. For every 20 meters you move, you'll basically spawn a series of totems like that. And you gotta dodge out of the way like that. You counter like that. And if I keep moving around, another series of totems will be summoned, which is what I'm hoping will happen. And we'll deal a whole bunch of damage to that guy. There's our totems. Let's see if we can get him to cross the line and take a whole bunch of unnecessary damage. That's my favorite. We're gonna dodge out of the way of that. We're gonna counter him. I'm gonna do my special attack. I dodged out of the way of that one. I didn't need to. I am gonna use one of my apples. Still a bit, because we're gonna use it here in a second. He will die to our totem, though. I'm hoping.
What was
there? He is. He died
song?
through the totems. The totems of pain are actually very good.
That's the way.
But that is the level completed for us. Looks like we got the Brothers in Blood scroll.
I'm glad you're here.
Sorry it took so long.
No.
And now that we've
it's all right.
completed the level, we can then journey on over to the tree and exit our way out. I'm assuming the Brothers in Blood scroll was unique to this one. That's why the question mark was here, because the fact that they had a optional objective to complete and get new abilities as we go. We'll go ahead and return to the Sanctum. Here we can see our progress, the amount of experience, the enemies we killed, and our skills and rewards. Looks like we ended up walking away with like 2 recipes and 2 abilities. 1 blue weapon scroll for sword and Sacred Blight. I don't know what that is. I wonder if Sacred Blight is also an ability. I guess we're about to find out. All right, let's see what that's about. I'm assuming added to the pool. Maybe the Sacred Blight is a skill that you'll find inside of the game as far as like an ability goes. Because I don't think any of these... We didn't get any new abilities. Okay. But we did, oh, we got all the pieces to a spear, so we can at least craft that one just to showcase what that looks like. So if I come over here, I can input all the spear pieces, and boom, now I have myself a spear. So at any point in time, I can actually click on this and basically use my spear, and instead of the hammer instead. I do wonder if this book will allow me to see the weapons and abilities. Oh yeah, it absolutely does. So perks. That's okay. So that's that. Special attacks, abilities. There we go. Skills. Oh, so you can actually see like what each of them does. So now we have a new holy ability called Sacred Blight. When Holy Contract is active, gain 10 additional posture damage. So Holy Contract says that we die, but we only have a certain amount of health. What other ability did we find? I'm sure we found another one somewhere. Thunder Roar. Lightning skills deal an additional 1 thunder damage for each enemy in range. That's pretty nice. And I want to Brother in Blood. That's the other one. After dashing for 5 seconds, effects of boiling blood is active regardless of your health. If at full health, become immortal for the duration. Boiling blood basically says that whenever we are at a specific amount of health, we deal additional damage. Okay, so those are all like new abilities that are now in the pool rather than like activatable abilities through our special attack. And if we go over to the Mother, we can check out what our new stuff is. So here we can get damage immunity for 5 seconds, or increase our holy damage by 200% for 15 seconds. Okay. I'm not sure how useful those skills are. I haven't had any chance to actually use those in combat yet. It's unfortunate we didn't have any more available crafting things other than the spear. But if I wanted to, I could go back over here and I could equip a spear. And unfortunately, you can't test them out here. That'd be cool if we had like a training dummy if we wanted to, so that way we can like, you know, give it a good shot. But now if I wanted to use the spear, I could go run around and I could stab stuff with that. Each of the weapons also have a variety of stats of their own, as this one does physical damage, posture damage, 104% extra elemental damage, and light attack damage is increased by 18%. Where is my cursor at? There we go. As you can see, there's a variety of different effects for all of these right here. So it seems like the light attack damage for the spear is probably the best reason to want to go with that one. The base damage is low, but I'm assuming because it's a spear, it is a fairly fast-moving attack. Heavy attack, evade backwards, throw out an arc of ghostly spears that pierce through enemies, through everything on their way. That actually seems like a pretty nice skill for keeping your distance on stuff. I might actually give the gauntlets a shot in the next one, but I am hoping that I can find a rare version of these before I start using them in combat. But that's a little bit of showcase of Hordes of Hunger, what's currently available in the game. Again, I think the game is fun. A couple of things, again, like I said, are kind of an issue. Combat seems really floaty. I kind of wish you could counter in the direction that you counter the attack from. I hope that we can basically fix the movement button on the parry as well as the sidestep system, because having your sidestep and your parry button on the same button seems kind of like a weird flub, honestly. But overall, I do hope for pretty good things coming in the future. I do know they said they're planning on adding new weapons, new abilities, new skills, even a new talent tree is going to be added to the game, as well as endless horde modes if you're into that sort of thing. But if you like your horde mode survival type games, this is definitely a very fun one. There's definitely some difficulty in it as you get further into it. I did showcase a build that didn't have a lot going on at the moment, but it still felt pretty nice. But I'm sure in the future you can build yourself some pretty nutty things. But what did you think of the game? Is this something you're interested in for? If so, make sure you visit the link down below and check out the game for yourself, or wishlist it if you'd like. But yeah, but until next video, until next time, you guys take care, and I'll catch you all in my next video. Later.